The Chiefs have to get things sorted out, and it starts with the coordinators. Matt Nagy will not be back. We'll tell you why right now.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for making us your first listen here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day, and this is your flagship Locked On Chiefs show, your daily podcast on your Chiefs, where that goes year-round. Nothing changes there, folks. We are just on to the next phase of this evolution for this franchise. We are part of the number one sports podcast network out there, and that's why, because we are functioning year-round all the time. We appreciate you everydayers being here. You make it go round. Thanks for making us your first listen. Check out another Locked On show for your next listen. And if you haven't already, check out the Everydayer Club, where you get some benefits like no ads in the audio and that kind of thing. Easy sign up. We'll tell you more about that coming up. I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting, where we've already started on this draft class, and the metrics for production and athleticism, our patented athletic matrix, will be out yet again. And we've begun over on NFL 33, getting our evaluations underway. You'll see rankings from me and my staff on NFL 33 for this entire draft class, along with our draft guide and everything else. And you can see more on your Chiefs film, etc., over at RGR Football. I am joined by my partner, Chris Clark, over at KC Chiefs Corner. We've been doing this together for 9 complete seasons now. Going to start our 10th off season here as we get ready for the future Chiefs. And we appreciate you being with us today. A couple of things. You're not going to have anything from Travis Kelce for a bit, but there's some differing opinions that lead us in a couple of situations that can give us a clue. We're going to talk about Travis Kelce first because he is the most important guy out there. And then the coordinators. What's going to happen with these guys? One thing is sure, and that is Matt Nagy's future. I will tell you exactly why coming up, and Chris will tell you why I'm crazy. And then we'll give you some of the options. Things are already beginning on Black Monday here in the NFL to give the Chiefs some future looks that we want to discuss as well. So it starts with Travis Kelce for me, Chris. Obviously didn't end the season the way that he wanted to. Didn't end. I can't say they ended the season in any way close to where he wanted to. And I am one that still feels that he has the physical ability yet to come back another season. He's going to take time away. He's going to probably not go to training camp, probably take the entire summer. But I think when September comes around, maybe even October, that itch is going to be back. He's going to be well rested. Hopefully he hasn't gone like full sourdough with Taylor or anything, but we'll find out. I think there's another season in Travis Kelce's future. What do you think?
I think it's interesting because to me, this goes back and it's more than just Kelce. It's a question about the entire roster. And I know we need to focus on Kelce, but the reality is, what is he going to be stepping back into in 2026 if he comes back? This is the worst the Chiefs have been in his time with Andy Reid. They have the 9th overall draft pick in the 2026 NFL draft. They've never drafted that high since they drafted Eric Fisher. Even when they traded to go get Patrick Mahomes, it was 10, not 9. So they're in a situation that they haven't ever been in. It's going to be interesting, but it goes further than that for me because it's a question of how does they decide they want to build the roster? Because when you look at this, it's a question of you were $45 million almost over the salary cap right now as it sits. That
according
is
over the cap, it looks like 52 today.
Okay. There you go.
It's getting worse. I don't understand how, but it's getting worse.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me that it's 50, almost 53. So some people hit some incentives is my guess is what happened on that. And so you're at 53 million. So now you have a situation where you have to figure out what are you going to do for the roster? And does Kansas City want him back? I'm sure they want him back. But it's going to become, you talk about him maybe not coming back until September, October. What are you going to leave the money there for him? I mean, that's what that's going to come down to. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's two things that his delayed decision means for this organization, in my opinion. And that is one, you have to build the tight end room as though he will not be here because you just won't know. I mean, unless he gives you an indication, before he goes off on his adventures for the summer. Which with the extra time off, maybe is an option. Maybe because he has, an extra 6 weeks to work some things out. Maybe that does become more of a heads up.
he said that he wanted to give them a time before the draft and before free agency. So you would hope that he is able to do that. We're going to be talking over the next couple of weeks what this team has to do, how they have to rebuild, and everything that's going to be coming with it. But that kind of goes back into my Kelce segment as well, because when you look at it, there's scenarios where maybe some of the guys that have been here with Kelce for the longest time might not be here anymore. I don't know that it's going to happen, but you have a possibility Chris Jones isn't going to be here. It's possible.
It is.
You don't have any information, and you're not going to know for 6 months probably where Patrick Mahomes is and if he can be back in ready to go week 1 or even week 6. Like, you're not going to know that. He's going to have to make a decision. If he makes a decision March, I can't see how it's anything other than retiring, because the other side of it for him is when you look at NFL players, generally speaking, they're chasing in some ways. Yeah, they love the game, but they're still chasing a paycheck to an extent. He's making more from his podcast than he would as a tight end.
Now, if only I could say that, then we'd be in much better shape. But that's a good point. It does change the math that you do for your life, right? And here's a good point that you make in wanting to get them information, not just before the draft, but before free agency. Tell me if any of these names sound intriguing to you. Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, Dallas Goedert, Taysom Hill, Noah Fant, a number of guys. Tanya could come back as well. And a guy that I think might be an underrated target for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Cade Otton, who's been putting things up for Baker Mayfield and helping him out in multiple ways. There's a free agency class that if Travis is not going to be back, you have to get in on, in my opinion, because I don't think Noah Gray's it.
I don't know that Noah Gray is going to be here in 2026. He's another guy that could give them some cap space. So to me, you have to be looking at completely rebuilding this roster, which we will get into. The tight end room, we've been saying for 3 seasons at least, if not 4, that they needed to find a tight end to kind of be the guy for taking over for Travis Kelce. I mean, you're never going to replace Kelce. That's just reality. But you can try to find somebody that can at least give you 70 to 80% of what he can do, maybe. The problem is the additional 20% that you're going to lose out on is going to be a huge loss that this team will feel for quite a long time. The other side of this that is going to play into it is when you look at how this team is going to be built, and we're going to talk about Nagy and Spags here in the next segment, but when you look at how this team is going to be built, are they going to have to change the offense? Because the offense has run a lot through the tight end over the past 10 seasons. I think that has to change and get more to the wide receivers, because I don't think you're going to have a tight end that can carry the offense like Kelce has.
Maybe not. That's part of the free agency math, and there is an option otherwise for that. We'll get to that coming up next, along with the future of Matt Nagy right now. Guys, it's late 2025, almost 2026, and those days of waiting for something to become a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, they're over. No more walking it off for 6 months. No more pretending that it's weird shoulder stiffness isn't going to be more than just sleeping wrong. It's time to take your health seriously, and ZocDoc makes it easier than ever, because staying healthy is more than just hitting the gym or eating right. It's about actually getting things checked out when something feels off. No more back and forth with phone calls, waiting for weeks to be seen. Real appointment times, they're listed, they're same-day visits. It makes it easy for you to do what you need to. Stop putting off your doctor's appointments and get the care that you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL. Hey guys, the draft picks are in. They're set for so many teams. They're looking for a franchise quarterback. If you ever wish to become a QB yourself, getting drafted first overall by the Chiefs, or like this year, the actual Raiders, now you can. There's a mobile game just for you. Ultimate QB football legend. In this game, you step into the cleats of the number 1 draft pick. It's your job to lead your team to greatness. The number 1 career mode game on mobile app stores, and it introduces the most realistic environment for a full career control. You sign contracts, train, upgrade yourself, build chemistry, and evolve with your teammates. Give input to your GM on roster moves, play the actual games in 2D, and rise up the ranks to become a pro football legend. Ultimate QB is totally free. There's no ads. It works 100% offline. Perfect for you want to sneak a quick game in or two on the go. Just head over to ultimate-qb.com. That's ultimate-qb.com, or search Ultimate QB in your favorite app store. We've got something special for you guys. Use the promo code LOCKEDON in all caps in the game store, and you'll get a free boost to start your career at Ultimate QB, the football legend QB1. It's your legacy. Make sure you check out the rest of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day, everywhere. We appreciate you. You're going to want to know the information about what's going on, say, in Atlanta, who does have a free agent for the tight end position, and yet they don't have a coach or a GM currently, because Black Monday has begun, folks, and it does change things. We knew before Black Monday came down that Matt Nagy was going to be taking interviews. What we've since confirmed is that there is no contract in place for Matt Nagy, and that he is willing, according to reports, to even consider an OC job not under Andy Reid. I think that's important for him if he doesn't get a head coach offer, which I truly expect for him to be offered and probably take the Tennessee Titans job with old friend Mike Borgonzi. But that is a process that has to play out. If that doesn't happen, he has, from his point of view, to step away from Andy so that he can get out from underneath the umbrella. Because right now, good, bad, or ugly, Andy Reid gets credit for what this offense is and isn't. I think that has sealed the fate for Matt Nagy. He will not be back in Kansas City because of all those factors, and the Chiefs need a new OC. Do you disagree at all?
Did you steal my notes? Because I swear this is exactly what I was going to say. I look at this, and I want to say, you talked about Atlanta, and we'll get to Black Monday in a moment, but I do got to give Atlanta props. Arthur Blank actually let the coach go back in and talk to the players. That's awesome. I think that's something that more organizations ought to do. But when you look at this, I think that Nagy is going to get a head coaching job, not necessarily because I think he truly deserves it, because based on what we've seen in this offense, and yes, I know Reid is the one calling it, and yes, I know Mahomes has his flaws, but from what we've seen from this offense, while Nagy's been the OC, it hasn't gotten better. It's actually, I think, regressed to an extent. And while it's mostly on Reid, part of that is going to play in and be on Nagy as well. But the thing that Nagy has that a lot of these coaches don't have, and especially for a guy like Borgonzi, who is a first-time GM, this could be a scenario where you're like, okay, I want to go with somebody that actually has head coach experience. Regardless of how that head coaching experience went, right? You have a guy that would have head coach experience.
I think that's important as well. And I do think the criteria for not just that experience, but having worked with quarterbacks. Let's be real. Matt Nagy may not have improved the offense in his second stint back here in Kansas City, but he got no help in Chicago with Mitch Trubisky, right? So there is a certain aspect to that I think the league will overlook and say, listen, he got put in a really rough position. In Tennessee, there is a rookie quarterback that played very, very well this season. Unfortunately, he did get dinged up. Doesn't look like it's going to be long-term anything, but that is part of the equation. And so I do think that there is that aspect of it as well, because you have to make sure that you can continue to build what will be a cornerstone for that franchise as well. Now, there are other cornerstones on that franchise and otherwise, and we understand, according to reports, that Steve Spagnuolo has interest from not only the Titans, but from other teams around the league. So he's in a similar position. Also, former head coach, has been around the league, generally thought of as one of the top 2 or 3 coordinators on defense in this league right now. It may not ever get better for Steve Spagnuolo if he wants to pursue another head coaching opportunity. I don't have as good a feel for that situation as I do for Nagy, though. So I feel like it's maybe 50-50. If he got an offer, say, at home in New York, that seems pretty much slam dunk to me. Tennessee, I'm not so sure, or elsewhere. What do you think?
I think if he gets the opportunity to be a head coach somewhere else, I think he's going to take it. I don't know that he's going to get the opportunity is what it really comes down to, though.
Okay.
Like, I think he should get the opportunity. I just don't know that he will get the opportunity. Spagnuolo is a fantastic coach, and I do think that he gets a lot from his players. Yes, he has tendencies that drive me absolutely crazy. Playing Shamari Connor over Jaden Hicks all season is one of them. But we will talk about that later when we start talking about how this defense is going to look in 2026. The reality, though, is that he is a fantastic coach, and I do think he deserves a chance to be a head coach again. His problem that he has is he's old. I guess I should say older.
I was going to say easy, buddy.
Well, he's older. Well, he's in his 60s. Like, it's not like Matt Nagy's in his 40s. So I mean, there's a huge difference there.
Yes.
Generally speaking, the NFL is looking for, and this isn't fair to the coaches, but generally speaking, the NFL has gone younger and trying to find the next young coach that's going to be the guy that can run your franchise for a very long time. Look at what Sean McVay did. Schottenheimer for the 49ers. I mean, there's lots of different coaches that are getting jobs when they're younger and having success. That didn't happen for Nagy in his first stint with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to wonder, how does that play into all of this? But Spagnuolo wasn't a good head coach or didn't do a very good job with the Giants when he was there. So you have to wonder how that plays into things. I don't know whether or not he's going to get another opportunity. I think he probably should. I don't know that he will. I just think that you're going to be looking for somebody that's younger and that can stick around for more than what they're going to figure that Spags could.
I think whether or not it's a head coaching position, I do think both these guys have to be planned for if they're not here. Black Monday has started. There are coaches out there looking for jobs now. A lot of it has fallen right along the lines of what the Kansas City Chiefs need. We're going to get to two guys in particular that I think are fits for the Kansas City Chiefs coming next. Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is the official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing for the NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app just during that happy hour brings you something new. It brings boosts, bonuses, and surprises, and you can get it all right there. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only at FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. And make sure if you want all the details about everything else going into this offseason, that you check out KC Chiefs Corner, as well as NFL 33 and RGR Football. We would appreciate that because we can't fit it all into this show, but this is where it all starts. And where it started Monday was a series of firings. There's always the discussion with Andy Reid is, will he go outside of his tree? He was even asked that in his presser today, which gave absolutely no information. So you can take from that what you will. There will be options. Eric Bieniemy, Mike Kafka, there's a report out there that they would both be welcomed back. I don't necessarily buy that, but
I don't buy that.
If Mike Kafka doesn't get the Giants job, and maybe it is Steve Spagnuolo or somebody else, I can't think that he sticks around just to continue to train Jackson Dart. So I think that is the more likely scenario, that Kafka would come back. But there's also a really interesting twist today. There was a coach let go in Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski, that I think brings a tight end oriented offense that has some similarities to Andy, yet it's different enough, especially in the run game, that would, I think, bring some diversity to it. And I think it's time for a hire outside of Andy's tree. I like the pairing, and I don't think that any coach fired in the last couple of days is going to go directly to another head coaching position. What do you think of that pairing if Stefanski were to come in to replace Matt Nagy?
I would like it. I think that would be fantastic because I do agree with you. I think that they need to go outside the Reid coaching tree. It's not going to shock me if it ends up being Kafka, but I would also say that I disagree with you. I don't know that I see that Stefanski is not going to get a head coaching job elsewhere. I think that he has been successful enough in the NFL. He will get a chance this season. to be a head coach. Now, the question becomes, and it's a little bit different with a guy like Spags. In Spags' case, I think that it's a scenario where he takes any head coaching job he gets an opportunity for, because I just don't know that you're going to get very many with his age and his time in the NFL. But with Stefanski, it's a question of, okay, if I go be an offensive coordinator under Andy Reid for 1 or 2 seasons, I get to work with Patrick Mahomes. The chance that we could go back to the chance that they could go to the Super Bowl, I could get a Super Bowl ring, and there's also an outside chance that if I go to Kansas City, I take over as the future head coach for Andy Reid, because Reid eventually will retire. I don't think he's Pete Carroll. I don't think he's going to be coaching in another 10 years.
I agree.
So I do think that it's possible. I just don't know that. While I look at Stefanski, I think that he has an opportunity. I think he will get an offer to be a head coach somewhere. I just don't know that he will take it. I think that he could go kind of the Ben Johnson route to an extent and say, I don't really want that opportunity, and go elsewhere. And Johnson's a little different because he stayed with the Lions, but you get what I mean.
Right. And honestly, from Kevin Stefanski's point of view, it would make sense too, because you would learn how another Hall of Fame coach does it. It would expand your potential touch points for the next time you are a head coach. You have a very good point there. Now, on the defensive side, there's also possibilities that are tied to Black Monday as well. 2 coaches have been let go today that have direct ties to this coaching staff now. I know that's a bit of a surprise, and I will explain why. Raheem Morris was let go by the Atlanta Falcons, and if Steve Spagnuolo gets this phantom head coaching job and does depart, he will take at least an assistant or 2 with him. I do agree with that. I don't know, outside of Dave Merritt, if there's an internal candidate to become a DC, so you have to look outside, in my opinion, at least for a couple of interviews. Raheem Morris is very interesting to me, and the connection there is that he used to work for John Gruden. And we know that Andy Reid is close with him. We know that it would be, I think, a bit of a departure from what this team has looked like, but it would also be something that I think, in a lot of the consternation about the players' abilities to fit the system, I do think there is some overlap there. I think playing the way that Raheem Morris likes to play is a possibility with the personnel that the Chiefs already have. So I think he, unlike Stefanski, I think Morris is the most likely to get another head coaching position, but I don't think it happens. What do you think of that pairing?
I wouldn't hate it. I'll be honest. I'm going to hate when if Spags gets a head coaching job, because I think that he's a fantastic coach, and I think he's done fantastic things for the Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. There's always going to be things that you and I are both not going to agree with on offense or defense. Doesn't matter. Hall of Fame head coach, Hall of Fame offensive defensive coordinator, whatever. There's going to be things that we don't agree with, and obviously they know more. They know a ton about football, so it is what it is. But I do think that I don't know that Morris would get an opportunity this year. It's different for me just because Stefanski was in his job for so long and was successful at one point with the Cleveland Browns, a franchise that has been predominantly in the cellar for most of the time in Cleveland this second time around. So I do think that you have to look at that and say, okay, well, he was able to do something. And then you also have to take into consideration he was hamstrung with the contract that they signed Deshaun Watson to. And how much is that going to affect what you're able to do on the football field? Not even taking into account what they did for Myles Garrett, who they pay. And I'm not saying he's not a fantastic football player. Obviously, he is the NFL sack leader in a single season. I get all that. But you're talking about, 70-some million for Deshaun Watson and another 40-some million for Myles Garrett. I mean, that's taking up almost half your salary cap right there in 2 players. One that didn't even really play for you this season.
Yeah,
so
it has been a burden.
It's a tough situation for Stefanski, whereas Raheem Morris, goes into Atlanta, isn't there very long. I just think it's a little bit different. I can't see him getting an opportunity this year. I do think that he gets another opportunity maybe in a couple of years, but it wouldn't be shocking for him to get an a DC job this year.
Yeah, I think that's very true as well. The other option that happened on Monday is a guy that's been in Arizona for what I think is a relatively short amount of time. Gannon has been let go as well. Gannon used to work for Spags. Gannon has coached a number of places, including along with the Philadelphia Eagles. There are connections there. And I do think that would open the door for an interview, at least if Spags were to depart, for Andy Reid to feel a little bit more comfortable, shall we say. That said, I am not certain that system that I have seen has been what I want to see in Kansas City. That fit isn't quite as strong as Raheem Morris is for me right now. And until we have more options on the table, I think I would prefer Morris. But how do you stand with Jonathan Gannon?
Gannon would be fascinating to me. I would have to look more at the scheme and how it would fit. But again, I go back to what I said in the Kelce segment. Just because they have players that don't fit right now doesn't necessarily mean that those players are going to be here in 2026. I actually was having this conversation with somebody else earlier today before we recorded this podcast, that when you look at what they're going to do for 2026, the fact that they don't know where Patrick Mahomes is could affect everything they decide to do. They could look at this and say, he's going to be back maybe mid-season. Okay, well, if he's back mid-season, are we even going to be challenging for the playoffs? If we're not going to challenge for the playoffs, what if we blow it up this year and go all in for 2027? Like, get rid of your salary cap problems that you have. Get some young players, draft who you think can help you. I'm not saying tank. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying take care of your salary cap situations that you have now, fix them in 2026, and realize maybe you're not going to be competing anyway and go all in 2027. That, to me, could mean that you go a completely different direction with your offense or your defense, just because they worked in the systems that you have now doesn't necessarily mean they're going to work in the systems that you have that you want to go into in the future and with the players that you could have available. I mean, I said Chris Jones, Drew Tranquil could be gone. Nick Bolton's going to be here, but you could be losing, Leo Chenal as a free agent. Trent McDuffie, are you going to keep him? Are you going to trade him? I don't know what your answer is. Brian Cook is gone. I can't see him back. Jalen Watson probably gone. You just have all these different things that are going to play into it. I'm not necessarily near as worried about the system because I do think that you can get the players to tailor to the system, but you also have to make sure you have somebody that's going to get players that are going to fit what they want to do and then put them in the positions to do what they're good at, because that is something that this defense has lacked for a very long time, putting players in the right positions, and it's driven me nuts. Kind of the same thing to an extent on offense. And I will challenge you on one more thing that you didn't even think we were going to talk about. I'm not so sure that you have Dave Toe back in 2026.
I don't care about special teams.
I understand you don't, but it is part of the game.
It is. You're absolutely right.
All the penalties that you had cost you multiple times, not only with your field position on offense, but field position on defense too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the reason that I say that is because as little impact as it had, you have what I think are the keys to it, in that you have a huge leg punter and you have a big leg, at least until this season, kicker as well.
Reliable
fall
kicker,
off mostly.
But he wasn't this year.
Season. Exactly.
No, I know. That's my point.
Yeah, that's fair. And the special teams coordinator is generally an up-and-coming coach. I don't think that there's going to be a lack of options there. So I think, especially watching what Sky Moore was able to do when he was traded away from this team, or let go to show up in San Francisco and be able to have a season, his best season of output, particularly on special teams, but on offense as well, tells me that there is a problem with what's being done, particularly in the special teams arena at this point. So, well,
and the coach and the wide receiver coach, like I think it's an indictment on the wide receiver coach, which we've talked about multiple times. There's some other offensive people that need to be let go and made. If you're letting Nagy go, or if Nagy's not going to be brought back, this is the time to get an offensive coordinator, sit down with that offensive coordinator, and find guys that are going to fit what they want to do, and get all on the same page, because you need to make some changes.
I agree, and we're going to talk about those changes with Matt Derrick tomorrow And we'll be back after that because you never know what's going to happen. This is a very tenuous time of the year. Some changes are coming. As soon as we have news, we'll break it down for you. Make sure that you are subscribed here, that you're in the Everydayer Club. If that's what you're looking for, we are going to have a great time. We thank you for joining us today. And we're going to talk to you tomorrow as well with everything here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day.